England's Creative Coast is a multi-layered, wide-ranging project which reaches across Kent, East Sussex and Essex. And we've commissioned 7 international artists to make work in those places and spaces. We worked with an amazing curator called Tamsin Dylan, and she approached Michael to come and do some work here.
The artwork that I've chosen to make for England's Creative Coast is based on a work that was in Basra. And it consisted of about 80 officers who had served during the Iran-Iraq War, and they were positioned along the waterway, the Shatt al-Arab, pointing fingers towards Iran. When the British Army invaded Iraq in 2003 and occupied the city of Basra, the local population worked with the British to remove the sculptures. When I came to visit Margate, the first thing that I saw was the Nayland Rock Shelter. So not far from the Nayland Shelter is this statue, the Surfboat Memorial, that's made by Frederick Calcott, and it depicts an oarsman looking out towards the sea with his hands raised to his brow, looking for people to rescue. I thought about the oarsman now, and you wouldn't have that monument named now, because now people look out at sea not for people to rescue, but to turn them away. I started to think, what would happen to that monument in Basra if it was like traveling along the waterways from the Shatt al-Arab upwards towards Margate? How would it emerge? It would emerge not as an Iraqi, but as a British soldier, not pointing out towards the sea, towards some imagined enemy, but inland towards Parliament, where the decision to go to war with Iraq was made. I started to think about what would it mean to make a new kind of stone. And so it's a work that has calcite from Margate, it has soil from Basra, but it also has all of these objects that the group Veterans for Peace have donated. And the soldier who's depicted is Daniel Taylor, who is a British soldier that served in Basra.
So I got involved with the project through Veterans for Peace. There wasn't really any sort of clear idea of what the project would be until we'd had a chat. It's meant an awful lot. It's taken a lot of years of processing and doing therapy to get to a point where I felt brave enough to approach something like this, really. I think it's in doing that gave me this massive release. I can look at that now and it tells a story that I don't have to hold within myself.
Well, Michael has this incredible way of forming connections between people and history. Each person who took part in the workshops was invited by Michael Rakowitz to donate an object that related to war and conflict in some way. And then these objects were to be physically embedded within the sculpture. Stories of generational trauma and present-day experiences, and for the many people involved in the project, the physical act of parting with that object was a really cathartic and meaningful process.
I donated a piece of fabric because I thought it was so beautiful. Reminded me of things from childhood and coming to England. You just think, why can't people just get on and, just be at one with each other?
I've done the 3 wise monkeys to represent the 3 disabilities in life: deaf community, blind community and non-communication. It represents the conflict in life and war that causes disabilities as well. I work with a young lad now due to conflict in war where a bomb went off quite near him and deafened him.
I donated my object because I made it, and it was about conflict in Gaza. There were lots of school children and all their schools been blown up. And we often forget the children. They're having to do schooling outside in the open, and she's standing on a pile of rubble, which was her school.
I know that the Veterans for Peace want the work to travel, to tell this story. That excites me. I do hope that people will be able to have these discussions and that fearless listening can inspire fearless speaking.